Take a seat, take a seat. Can you turn me down? It's quite a little bit loud. I'm a speaker that likes to talk a little louder, and you'll see my hands fly everywhere. I'm quite expressive. It's wonderful to be here in Amsterdam, Netherlands. It's the first time here speaking, and definitely not the last. My goodness, Amsterdam is so beautiful. It is so pretty. If you could sit down, because you're going to be blocking people behind you. I don't mind if you video this, but just make sure there's no flash. I don't like flashes, like that flash right there, and that flash right there. I just want you to know that in my travels in 57 countries, in California, USA, married to my half Japanese, half Mexican wife, Japsican, and we have 2 children. One is 2 years and 2 months, and the second one, he's on his way. August 9th, he'll be born, and so we're very excited for that. Standing their pain, but when you look at a man without arms and legs smiling, I just hope that it inspires you to not just be more thankful and not complain again. That's not about that. If that was the only goal, to stop you complaining, and everyone will complain, and you'll never stop complaining. If you don't complain, you're not human, correct? Right? Because we always have ups and downs. You see my foot? Ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. But amongst the ups and downs and the good things and the bad things, I want to help you make sure that your north on your compass is a true north. Of knowing that your priorities that you have are good priorities, and that the way that you live from day to day actually show that these priorities are important to you. Before I get into it, I always open up with a couple funny stories. Many people, they look at me, you know, they ask me what happened. Well, the truth is, my parents don't know why I was born this way. Doctors don't know why I was born this way. Lady Gaga doesn't know why I was born this way. And my brother and my sister and my 2 sons have arms and legs. And it was just one of those things where no one knew why Nicholas James Vujicic was born this way. And as I came into the world, and my mom and dad had no warning during the pregnancy either, I came into the world saying, surprise! And the doctors told my parents that I would never walk. The doctors told my parents that I would never go to school. Not only have I learned how to do so many things and achieve things as a 32-year-old, but I've discovered so many truths about this life. That I don't know who you think is stopping you from your full potential. I don't know what circumstances you believe you have that are stopping you from your full potential. But the saddest thing about this earth is that I find many people who are their worst enemy. They are the ones stopping their full potential. They are the ones who are the biggest discouragers of their lives. You see, when people look at you and say something or don't say something, look at you or don't look at you, you react to how they act. And in that little interaction with every single human being, whether it's your boss, your work colleague, or your spouse, planting seeds of bitterness or love, fear or faith, belief or tearing down. Every time I look at you, if I look at you and say, hi, how are you? And you say, oh, I'm fine, but I know you're not fine, and I look you in the eye again and say, no, really, how are you? Do you know what that does right there and then? It's planting a seed of affirmation in you, in your soul, in your spirit, that someone actually cares about how you are, and not just saying that. Love is incredible. Seeds of love then grows what? Hello. Love grows what? Love. Fear, seeds of fear then grows what? Fear. Okay. Seeds of faith then breeds what? Faith. Bitterness then breeds what? Gossip breeds what? Okay, so everything you do, everything you say has a cause and effect in not just your life, but people's lives around you. And every day my mom and my dad, they get me ready in the morning, and you know, they're brushing my teeth and saying, okay, Nick, you're gonna have a good day at school, yeah? And I'm like, now don't worry about what anyone else says. You're beautiful just the way that you are, okay? You're just special, okay? And so then I go to school and I feel pretty good. And then when I go to the school, it only takes one person to make you feel alone. One person who will look at you and laugh at you and judge you and point their finger at you. And I come home and I'm saying, Mom and Dad, I don't want to go to school anymore. Why not? Because they're bullying and teasing me. Oh, don't worry, it's okay. Just do your best. You're beautiful. You're special. And I'm thinking, I don't want to be special. I don't want to be special. I want to run like everyone. I want to throw a ball. I want to ride a bike like everyone. And my mom and my dad, they're my heroes, man. Every time I started complaining about what I didn't have, they said, stop complaining and do your best. They didn't spoil me. They didn't treat me better than they treated my siblings. No, man, I had my chores. If I didn't clean my bed, I'd get punished for it. I mean, making up my bed. Next time your teenagers complain about making their beds, tell them to then shut up and do it with their teeth, okay? I made my bed with my teeth. I vacuumed our house. On my shoulder, I held the vacuum cleaner, and with my chin, I vacuumed the house for $2 a week. And with my money, I would save money. And if I wanted something from the store, like candy or a toy, guess who paid for it? Me. And if I wanted to help some orphans, guess whose money we used? Mine. Those are the work ethics and values that my mom and dad taught me. Stop complaining and make sure that you do your part, do your best, and give back. That child bought his first house at age 19, investment property, that made 50% gain in 12 months, flipped it. I now have done a double degree in accounting and financial planning. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a founder and non-profit organization founder and president, and we've given nearly $1 million away to the poor and needy. Across the two organizations that we have, I have 14 employees. At 32 years old, I've traveled now 57 countries. And I want you to know that I'm not here to boast of my success. I'm here for you to understand that if a man without arms and legs can dream big and achieve his goals, then so can you. Sure, was it easier that I was born in Australia? Yeah, compared to many developing countries. Even if you didn't only change where I would be born, but even if I was only born in Australia 10 years prior, things would be different. What, to say it was easy? No. What about my parents? My parents were in former Yugoslavia, in the communism regime. In 1962, my mum was 6 years old. Her and her 8 siblings, her father and mother, escaped the border of Yugoslavia and went with nothing over the Austrian Alps. Became immigrants into Australia with nothing. My dad at 15 years old in 1969 escaped the borders of Yugoslavia with his family and went to Australia with nothing. Some of his meals was hot water with some sugar. That was a treat. So don't tell me that our family had it better off than others. My wife's story is incredible. We all have a story. Everyone has a story. You have a story. And no matter what ups and downs we have, as long as we have those principles and values and faith, I believe we can overcome all things. You know, when you don't see the full picture, it's a little bit difficult to believe in anything, really, and especially believe in yourself. Let me tell you a funny story about not seeing the full picture. One day I was in the front seat of a car, and we're at the traffic lights, and this car comes up next to us, and this girl's looking at me. So I'm looking at her. She's looking at me, I'm looking at her, she's looking at me, I'm looking at her. Now all she sees is my head. She doesn't see the rest of my body. So I think to myself, I want to freak her out. So I get the seatbelt in my mouth and I loosen it like this, so then I can freely move. Now she's looking at me with the seatbelt in my mouth and she's like, what? Now imagine all you see is my head. I just did this. She thought that my head did a 360-degree spin. And her face was like, it was really, really funny. You know, kids will come up to me and say, what happened? I go up to them and I say, cigarettes. We took it too far one day. We actually dressed me up as a pilot, and on a commercial airline, no lie, it's on YouTube. We actually put hidden cameras everywhere and wanted to freak everyone out. And so I had my hat on and my jacket and my badges. It was a 6 o'clock in the morning flight, and people were half asleep. So they're slowly coming to the door of the plane and they're drinking their coffees. Some people are talking, most people are not. And then they come up to the door of the plane and they see me. Good morning, welcome aboard. My name is Captain Nick Vujicic. Thank you so much for flying with us. Are you good? Can you just get your shots in? Are you happy? Thank you so much. Thank you. So, I said, good morning. My name is Captain Nick Vujicic. I'm going to be flying the plane today. And they're like, no way. I said, uh-huh. They're like, how do you do that? Is that like with your brain or something? And I said, uh-huh. So everyone walks on the plane, and the children, they just think this is the coolest thing. I mean, they're so excited. They're like, this is awesome. And then their parents, they're freaking out. They're like, did you know about this? No. Well, what do we do? I don't know. Maybe we wait for the next flight. And I was like, man, how do we do this? Like, how long do we keep on going with the joke, right? So everyone's on the plane. And so I start walking on the plane like this. And I look down the aisle and I see all the heads, they're like, I got the microphone. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for boarding so fast. And they're like, oh my gosh! When I told them that I was joking, the parents were relieved and the children were disappointed. Sometimes in life, when you want something to change, you gotta sometimes do something different. Does that make sense? Okay. Sometimes in life, you can do everything you can to achieve something, but if it's not meant to be, then it's what? Not meant to be. Okay, so get your piece of paper and your pen. Make sure you got a new piece of paper on the left of the page. So if you make that word me on the top left of your page, then make the word goal, G-O-A-L, on the top right of your page. And then draw a line in between the two words. then simply put a question mark in the middle of it. Okay. Who are you? It's so important to know who you are. It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? I'm not talking about your name or your nationality or your culture. I'm not talking about the good things and the bad things you've done. I'm talking about who you are. At a funeral, nothing's really said about their achievements. But it is talked about who the person was. Were they a giver or a taker? Were they selfish or generous? Were they kind? Were they self-controlled? Did they look out for the interests of others? Who are you? I don't care how much money you have in the bank. I really don't. I don't care what business you have. I don't care about all that stuff. I don't care how you look. I don't care about any physical, tangible things. But I care about what kind of leader you are. You know, the greatest leaders in this world are the greatest servants. You can't be a great leader until you're a great servant. And you can't be a great servant till you have a zero ego. Because when you're a servant, you got to understand that there is no one that is less valuable or less important than you, which will then reflect how you talk to the employees up the chain and down the chain. I don't care how much money you have in your bank, but I'll care about how you love your wife. I don't care about what title you have, but do you love your children? What kind of conversations do you have with your teenagers? Hi, how are you? Fine. How was school? Boring. What'd you learn? Nothing. Did you do your homework? No. Go clean your room. Later. My dad had 3 jobs. My mom was a full-time nurse. And they planted a church voluntarily. Doing all these things, my mom and dad always made time for us. Playing marbles, playing chess, playing soccer, going fishing, going camping, playing board games, playing music together. If this was the last 30 seconds for you to breathe, $25. Who have you not hugged in a while? Who did you not thank? Who did you not say sorry to? Who did you not forgive? It's hard. These are the things that matter. I don't care about your goal and your success right now. Who are you? Are you happy with you? No one's perfect. You see that book over there? We take one step at a time, one step at a time, one step at a time, one step at a time. This life is a journey. I'm still learning. You're still learning. We'll never stop learning until we stop breathing. And every day you got to make your day count. Every time I leave my family behind in Los Angeles to go travel around the world and do 8 countries in 2 weeks, I realize that I may not be able to come back home. Can anyone guarantee that my plane's not crashing tomorrow? No. Can anyone guarantee I'm going to be able to get back to my hotel room? No. Can anyone guarantee that I'm not going to have a heart attack while I'm here on stage? No. It's not guaranteed. It's why you make every day count. I love my boy. He's 2 years old. He sometimes gives me a high five on my shoulder, sometimes on my face. He's going to start to learn how to swim in a couple months. Summer's around the corner. I never thought as a child that I would ever be able to get married. I was my worst enemy when I was a kid, because I let all the fear and all the anguish and all the distractions get to me. Man, I'm never gonna get a job. Everyone say the word men. Go.
Men. Go.
Say it again.
Men.
Men have a subconscious difficulty of not directly correlating between their value as a man attached to how much money they can bring home. They feel more of a man if they can bring more money home. It's wrong. You're no less valuable of a man. I'm no less valuable of a man if I didn't have a job, if I was not a speaker, if I was not an author. I'm still Nick Vujicic. There's not another Nick Vujicic, there's not another you, there'll never be another you. You don't have to be me, you don't have to be anyone else, you just gotta be you. Be the best you can be. And until you accept you, how do you expect the world to accept you if you don't accept you? If you keep on changing and running after dreams, then you find that you actually lose your own value and even own focus of happiness. What's happiness? Money, drugs, sex, alcohol, pornography, fame and fortune? No. If you put your happiness in temporary things, your happiness will be temporary. I'll tell you right now, many single people I meet, they're like, well, I know that things are gonna get better when I get married. If you ain't happy single, you ain't gonna be happy married. If you don't believe me, go talk to some married people. Can you hear it? Amen. It's true. I wanted arms and legs. If I could just have arms and legs, then everything's gonna be okay. No. I don't need arms and legs. Arms and legs may give me arthritis later on anyway. I need peace. I need purpose. I need strength. I need wisdom. More than arms and legs. Can you turn me down just a little bit, please? Because am I too loud right now? Okay, fine. Then I'm fine. I feel like I'm loud up here, so maybe just turn my monitors down up here, please. Thanks. So watch this. You see that book? If I start walking this way, encouragement brings me closer to my full potential. Okay? Discouragement takes me away. At age 8, I let fear cripple me. Nick, you're not good enough. Nick, just give up. Nick, you're alone and you're always going to be alone. You're not going to get married. Even if you got married, you can't even hold your wife's hand. Even if you had kids, you can't even hold them when they're crying. You're not going to get a job. You're going to be a burden to your parents for the rest of your life. Forget it. No one understands you. No one ever will understand you. You may as well just commit suicide. And I tried. And the only reason why I did not successfully drown myself in my bathtub was because of one thought that came through my mind. And it was the visual in my mind of seeing my mum and my dad and my brother crying at my grave. I didn't want to leave them with that pain, so I decided to stay. Man, am I glad I stayed or what? And I'm sorry if you've been abused. That's not the best that this life has for you. You don't have to fight your fears and pain alone. Find a counselor, find a coach, find someone you can trust to coach you through every single situation. I'm sorry if you have loss in your life. My friend just died 2 days ago of cancer. She was 35 years old. I'm gonna go be with her husband when I get back. I can't imagine burying my wife. My wife buried her father to cancer. Can't imagine that. Life is life and pain is pain and brokenness is brokenness, but hope is hope. And I believe there's a hope. A real hope. Everyone say a real hope.
Real hope.
Do you know what a real hope means to me?
Your heart.
A real hope that basically is hope for any single person, anywhere, at any given time, in any single situation. For the rich, for the poor, for the healthy, for the sick, for the orphan, for the sex slave. I was in front of 650 sex slaves, 16 years old. I was 26. These 650 girls were sold by their parents for $700 as a sex slave when they were 10 years old. Do you have hope? Could you communicate the hope that you have to them? Would it apply? Just have a positive attitude? Just believe in reincarnation? Really? Better luck next time? That's what a woman told me when I was 12 years old. She said, have you ever wondered why you have no arms and legs? And I said, yes. She said, well, I know why. I said, why? She said, you were a very bad person last life. And I said, thanks. She said, but don't worry, next life, you'll probably come back as a butterfly. And I'm like, woman, you don't understand how many butterflies I've killed in my wheelchair. I don't want to be a butterfly. Some people say to people, well, just change the story. You know, whatever happened to you, just change what happened in your mind. You can't. But there is hope. And these girls found it, and these girls find it. And I saw one of these girls go through rehabilitation, find herself a job, be set free in her faith in God. In that money that she saved, she didn't save up for a car, didn't save up for a house. She saved up $700 to go back to the brothels and set another girl free. Take her through school, get her a job, and then they together save up money to keep on setting sex slaves free. To me, you don't know what beautiful things can come from your broken pieces until you give your broken pieces a chance. And I don't know what you would have to live through or experience in your life for you to look back before you die and say it was worth it and it made sense. Life is confusing. But I'll tell you some story. When I was 24 years old, I was in front of a crowd of about 300 or 400 people. And I saw a little boy being held up above the crowd. 19-month-old little Daniel Martinez, no arms, no legs, and a little foot like me. And I'm like, wow, dude, we're gonna wrestle later on. I got the father to bring him up on stage and we set him up here and he's looking up at me and I'm looking down at him and I can't give him a high five, so I gave him a low 2. And he smiled and everyone cried. Why? Because it was a miracle. I saw my mom hug his mom and they cried. I saw my dad hug his dad and they cried. I remember when I was in school that I wish I could meet someone like me. It'd be incredible if a limbless man could come to my school and tell all my bullies to shut their mouth. I didn't get that miracle. But now I'm that little miracle for this boy. He was being teased at school, so I went to his school about 2 or 3 years ago and I went there in my wheelchair and I ran all the kids over. No, I didn't. I went there and I shared a story of love and a message of acceptance. Now he's the coolest kid in the school. Now we're gonna go swimming. Me, him, and my son. Now, Daniel knows at age 9 that if Uncle Nick's okay, then Daniel's gonna be okay. And for me, that's what makes my life worthwhile. That one day when I'm in heaven with my arms and legs, he's gonna run to me on his new legs and hug me with his new arms and tell me, thank you for helping me believe that this place called heaven was real. That's why I don't care for anything else, because nothing else matters. You'll have ups and downs, but that's okay. It's not about going from a valley to a mountain, it's going through valleys and mountains. So when you have the courage to realize the truth will set you free. And when you see all these lies are just voices. I like to call the voices the devil. Okay? Who's bringing me closer and closer to the edge. You know what I just do to that? Devil, you can talk to the foot because the ears ain't listening. And I turn around and I take one step at a time, one step at a time, one step at a time. Does Nick Vujicic fail? Yes. Is Nick Vujicic perfect? No. Does he fall down sometimes? Yeah. So, turn me up just a little bit, please. What do you do when you fall down?
Try to get up.
Get back up. Okay. How?
Turn back.
You don't know what you can achieve until you
Try.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I try 100 times to get up and I fail 100 times, am I a failure?
No.
Then why do you sometimes think that you are? Thomas Edison, he tried 10,000 times to make a light bulb. Someone came up to Thomas and said, "Hey Thomas, how does it feel failing 9,999 times?" You know what he said? "I didn't fail that many times. Now I know 9,999 ways in hell not to make a light bulb." Don't give up. Everyone say courage. Let me show you what courage is. I'm going to jump off the table, do a backflip, and land on the stage. Okay? Yes. Okay, here we go. Ready? Girls, are you ready? Boys, are you ready?
Yes.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. I'm joking, man. Are you serious? If I did that, I'll break my arm or something, all right? But let's change one thing. Let's say that I'm here on stage and no one else is here, and so I can't get down, and a fire is coming through the room. Am I going to jump off the table?
Yes.
Why?
Survive.
Write this line down. Ready?
Survive.
When you know why you do what you do, when you know why you do what you do, comma, that purpose brings courage and strength to drive through fear. When you know why you do what you do, that purpose brings strength and courage to drive through fear. You see, fear doesn't disappear. It's like this storm that we are in on a plane one day. Have you ever had a rough ride on an airplane? I have. You know when it's like shaking like this, and then you hold on with both hands? We were in a big storm for 25 minutes. I mean, the wind was atrocious. There was lightning. Lightning struck the left wing of our plane. I saw it. It was a flight during the day, but it was pitch dark outside. That flight made not only national news in America, but worldwide news. And it's amazing when you're on the plane like that, everyone's reactions. Some people are holding strangers' hands, some people are praying, some people are screaming, some people are vomiting. And here I am, and you know on a plane when you're going down, and you know on a plane when you're going up. It's not so safe to fly under the storm or in the storm, as beautiful as it is to fly above the storm. You know what eagles do when a storm comes? They're like, oh yeah, bring it on. I'm ready for this. I was born to fly above this. They enjoy it. They enjoy and circle within the warm currents of the air. And before the storm even approaches, they're already feeling the warmth in the air, and they ride those currents above the storm. You see, when you're in a plane and you're on an incline, no matter what you see, no matter what shaking is going on, you know, for as long as you keep on climbing, you're going to get eventually above the storm. And it was incredible. We finally got above the storm, and it went, peace. And the sun was shining. You see, it's always a sunny day above the clouds. How do you rise above the storm? Courage is not when you're not afraid. Courage is when you do something even while you're afraid. Would you like to hear how I transformed my life from depression to who I am today? I'm going to give you a list of keys. Okay, so write down a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The first one is attitude of gratitude, being thankful. I love my little foot. This foot of mine, I've got 2 toes. I can even do the peace sign. Peace. I can type 43 words a minute on a normal computer. And after 2 cups of coffee, 53 words a minute. I've learned how to walk, to jump, to swim, to golf, to fish, scuba dive, surfing, snowboarding, skydiving. My knees were shaking. I've done all these things. And when I was 13 years old, I was playing my favorite sport, soccer. I was on the field, and when you put a full-size soccer ball next to me, I'm only 94 centimeters tall. You guys work in inches or centimeters?
Centimeters.
Yeah. And so I'm on the field, and my friend is about to kick it to me. And I'm a little nervous, right? He says, are you ready? And I'm like, uh-huh. And he gets ready like this, and he goes, like this. And the ball's coming right for me. You know when something's coming right for you like a homing missile? And it doesn't matter what you do, you're dead? That's the feeling I had. So I thought, I'm going to hit the ball before the ball hits me. Now, have you seen the film The Matrix?
Yes.
It's real. Everything went into slow motion, and this ball's coming right for me, and I'm thinking, man, I'm gonna hit the ball before the ball hits me. I can't headbutt it because it's coming a little bit too low. I can't kick it because it's a bit too high. So everything went into slow motion, and I decided to jump up in the air, and while I'm in the air, to do a karate kick. So I went like this, and I went like this. And the ball came, hit my foot, bent my foot backwards on itself. And I heard a and I'm like, and my foot went, I need this thing. I was 13 years old and I was in my bed for 3 weeks. I'm staring at the ceiling. Man, I feel disabled. I gotta stop complaining, man. I gotta take some action. I gotta stop wishing and grumbling and do something. Point number 2. You don't know what you can achieve until you what? Try. Very easy. I never teach anything complicated. But these simple things will change your life. Number 3, when I fail, I will try again. Number 4, obstacles equals opportunity. The next one, what number are we on? 5, good. Failure equals education. Number 6, dream big, bigger, dream bigger. So dream bigger, and number 7, never give up. Let me tell you about how I became a speaker. My mom and dad, they encouraged me a lot. My dad was a very wise man. He knew that I couldn't compete in a lot of things at school, so he pushed me in mathematics, and I got a year ahead of everyone else, and I actually became number 1 mathematician in my class. That was the confidence that I really needed at that time of my life. My dad gave me the advice that, Nick, you have a brain, use your brain. And start an accounting business and have employees so they can be your hands and feet. Good advice? Yeah, I got that at age 6. My dad drilled that into me. I'm gonna start a business. I'm gonna start a business. I'm gonna start a business. It's a great, great goal. When I was 17 years old at high school, I would have to wait 1 hour after each day for my taxi to pick me up and then take me home. And I would stand there alone in my wheelchair, and one day the cleaner of the high school, who cleaned the toilets of the entire grounds, he looked at me and I looked at him, and he came a little closer to me and I came a little closer to him, and we started talking. He was about 60 years old, an Indian man called Arnold. We talked about life. We became friends very quickly. And about 2 or 3 weeks after our friendship, he looked at me and he said, Nick, you're gonna be a speaker. And I said, excuse me? He said, you're gonna be a speaker. I said, really? And what am I gonna speak about? He said, you're gonna share your story. I said, I don't have a story. He said, yes you do. I said, no I don't. I said, you're a crazy old man. He said, Nick, don't you know of the student support group that meets at the school every Friday lunch? I said, yeah, I know about them. He said, well, why don't you go there and share your story? I said, leave me alone, man. Nah, I have nothing. Leave me alone. I thought he would never bring it up again, but he brought it up the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and he started getting annoying. I started to hide away from him, and he comes and finds me. And after 3 months, he twisted my arm, and I said yes. And I finally got there, and I didn't know what to say. After I was done, and I just rambled on and just shared from my heart, I looked at a girl who was crying. I said, are you okay? She said, uh-huh. I said, what's wrong? Nothing. I said, why are you crying? I was just touched. I said, who touched you? I didn't understand that her heart could be so moved. And I'm like, okay. She came and she gave me a hug, and then I hugged some other people. I don't shake hands, I hug everyone. The husbands let me hug their wives because they know I'm not going to lay a hand on them. But the scary thing about hugging everyone is that anyone can just pick me up and take me home. So I hugged them and they said, can we have your phone number? I said, for what? I said, so we can call you. I said, for what? Well, we want you to come back and speak. I said, for what? I gave them my number, and some people started to call me, and I started speaking at this group and this group and this church and this youth group and all these things. I spoke 12 times between ages 17 and 19. And I came home one day and my mother was very angry with me. When my mother is angry with me, she calls me Nicholas. I come home and she says, Nicholas! I said, yes, Ma? We need to talk.
What?
I said, okay. So I went to the kitchen, which is my mom's office. She always has the wooden spoon ready. We walk into her office, and she can't even sit down, she's so angry. I said, so, what do you want to talk about? She says, Nicholas, I just need to know the truth. I said, what? She says, I don't know, I just need to know what's going on. I said, what? She said, I don't know. These strangers, they come and pick you up and put you in their car. You go for a couple of hours and you come back and you're happy and they're crying. She said, what's going on? I said, I'm just speaking. She says, you're speaking? I said, uh-huh. She says, what are you speaking about? I said, I'm sharing my story. She says, you have a story? I said, yes. She says, what's your story? I said, I don't know. She said, but I need to know, why are they crying? I said, I don't know. She said, are you making them feel sorry for you? I said, no. She says, what is this anyway? Is this like a hobby? I said, yes. I think so. She said, okay. And that was the end of the conversation. Then at 19, I found myself in front of 300 teenagers. And man, was I nervous. My palms were sweaty. I couldn't feel my legs. And within 3 minutes, half the girls were crying. And then there was one girl who just sadly, uncontrollably wept, and I stopped, and we all looked at her, and she couldn't stop crying, and she put up her hand. And she said, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but can I come up there and give you a hug? And in front of everyone, she came and she hugged me, and she cried on my shoulder. She said, thank you, thank you, thank you. No one's ever told me that they love me. No one's ever told me that I'm beautiful the way I am. My heart sank. Because if my parents never told me that I was beautiful or that they loved me, I would not be here. I thought to myself, how many people just need to hear a simple message of love? So, I looked at this girl's eyes later, and you can tell when someone gets hope. You can't get a vaccination for hope. You can't buy hope at a store. I can't get hope out of my pocket and put it in yours. But she got hope. It's priceless. So excited. I said, Mom and Dad, I know what I want to be for the rest of my life. My dad said, good, finish school first. And I'm there at the house, and my mom, she's, washing the dishes, and she's looking down at me, and I'm looking up at her. She says, so, you know what you want to be, huh? I said, uh-huh. She says, what? I said, I want to be a speaker. She stops. She crosses her arms like this. And leans over and says, what? You want to be a speaker? I said, uh-huh. She says, like a hobby or a job? Job. Are they going to pay for you? I don't know. Doesn't sound like a good job to me. She said, do you have any invitations? No. How are you going to get them? I don't know. Even if you got an invitation and they paid you, how are you going to get there? I don't know. I had no idea. The secret of life is focusing on what you need to focus on. Don't focus on just the things you don't know that traps you from never trying. Try. You don't know what you can achieve until you try. If you fail, you try again. Failure equals education. Obstacles equals opportunity. If I don't know anything about marketing, then it's an opportunity to learn. You and I know that I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't go through what I went through before. I wouldn't have this maturity. At age 8, at age 10, at age 12, at age 15. Start my own career and investment property portfolio at age 19. Makes you stronger, makes you wiser, makes you think. So, my mom had a lot of good questions, didn't she? A lot of unknowns. Don't just focus on the negative unknowns, look at the positive unknowns. When you know why you do what you do, that brings what? Purpose. You know what purpose I was focusing on? The girl hugging me and telling me that no one's ever told her that she is loved or that she is beautiful. that gave me courage that drives through fear. You don't need courage to win, you need courage to lose, because anything you do in life that's actually meaningful, you may have to fail first. And that's okay. Everyone say it's okay.
It's okay.
Good. Tell your neighbor it's okay.
It is okay.
So what did I do? I hated reading books. I've only read maybe 14 books in my whole life. 4 of them were mine. They were pretty good. I didn't get a book about speaking. I didn't know a speaker. I didn't know a coach. I had nowhere to begin. And I wasn't going to now just try find another speaker to copy what they do. So I got a list of these schools and their phone numbers. And I started calling them. Hello? Hi. My name is Nick, and I am a speaker. And I was wondering if I could come to your school and speak. No thank you. And hang up the phone. Was that a failure or success?
Success.
I'm gonna give you 3 seconds to think about it. Ladies and gentlemen, was that a failure or a success?
Success.
Would you make up your mind?
Success.
Put your hand up if you said failure. You're correct. If it was a success, she would have said yes. Correct? But you need to fail before you succeed.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, was that a failure or success?
Failure.
Good. Am I a failure?
No.
Am I gonna give up or get up?
Get out.
Good. So I didn't call the same school back, I just called another school. Hello? Hi, my name is Nick and I have no arms and legs. She said, what? I said, my name is Nick and I have no arms and legs. She said, how are you holding the phone? I thought, why is that so important? I don't understand. She didn't believe me. She hung up the phone. Failure or success?
Failure.
Am I a failure?
No.
Am I gonna give up or get up?
Get out.
Good. Hello. Hi, my name is Nick Vujicic and I have no arms and legs and I'm a speaker and I was wondering if I can come to your school. Let me check with the principal. I said, okay, sounds good. She got my number. She said, I'll call you back. I said, okay, no problem. I hung up the phone and I'm like, ooh, someone's gonna call me. My phone rings. Hello, this is Nick Vujicic speaking. Hi, this is the school that you just called. I said, okay, yes. Well, the principal and I talked and we agreed that we don't want a freak show at our school. True story. I said, thanks. And I hung up the phone. Failure or success?
Failure.
Was it offensive?
Yes.
Oh yeah. But it only stopped me for 5 seconds. Why? because I couldn't get the picture of that girl out of my head and thinking, I don't care how many times I need to fail, if I can just make a difference in another person's life, I don't care how many times I'll get a no. I'm gonna finally one day get a yes. So was that her problem or my problem? That's her problem. Is it my job to fix her problem? No. So, get over it. Next. Everyone say, next.
Next.
I called another school, and another school, and another school, and another school. I called 12 schools, 18 schools, 23 schools, 29 schools, 32 schools, 36 schools, 43 schools, 48 schools. 52 schools said no. And every time I got a no, I got better and better and better and better and better. This is my 53rd call. Hello, my name is NAC Vujicic. I'm a professional motivational speaker, and I was wondering if I can come and speak at your school about bullying, self-esteem, dreaming big, and never giving up. She said, okay. And I'm like, crap. What do I do now? I wasn't ready for this. So I got nervous and I asked the most ridiculous question. It's the worst question I could ever ask. I said, can you pay? She said, what? It's not for free? I said, sorry, no. I have some costs. She said, what's your costs? I said, 50 bucks. She said, okay. And I'm like, yeah. She said, can you come next Tuesday? I said, yes, I can come next Tuesday. So I got my pen and I'm writing down the address. She said, okay, we'll see you next week. I said, okay, bye-bye, thanks. She hung up the phone and I'm like, yes, success, baby. I was so excited. I'm gonna be a speaker. Accounting is so a boring subject. I don't want to do accounting. I don't want to do financial planning. I want to be a speaker. I was so excited. Couldn't wait to tell my parents. I got an invitation. And guess what happened? You see, in 2002, in Australia, there was no GPS. You had like this book. It's the map. And so I get this book, the map, and I open it. And I'm trying to find this place. And I said, oh no. You see, when you call schools, 53 schools, you start calling schools that are not in your city. This school was a 2.5-hour drive. I don't drive. It's a Thursday, the gig's next Tuesday. I'm thinking to myself, what am I gonna do? Like maybe if I start walking now, I'll get there on time. Maybe I should mail myself there. I didn't know what to do. So I didn't ask my parents for help, and I had a 16-year-old brother and he's watching TV. And I come walking in the room. I said, Aaron. He says, hey. Aaron, I got some good news. Oh yeah? What's that? Oh, a school wants me to speak. Oh, that's nice. He said, wait a second, you want me to take you, huh? I said, please, you don't understand. I go 53 schools and 52 said no, and I need to get there. And I'm going to be a speaker, and I can't cancel my first gig. He said, okay, calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down. He said, where is it? I said, I have the address in my room. He said, okay. He said, when is it? And I said, next Tuesday. He said, oh, no, I can't do next Tuesday. I said, you can't? He said, no. I said, why not? He said, I'm busy. I said, you're busy? He said, yes. I said, what are you doing? He says, nothing. So I walked away, and I'm thinking to myself, I will do whatever I have to do, because I need to get there. So I came back to my brother and I said, hey, I'll pay you $50. He said, okay. Now he's driving the car on the Tuesday. And he's looking, and the houses start disappearing. He says, where are we going? And I said, just keep driving. He said, it looks like we're going into some farms. I said, yeah. He said, how many people live out here? He says, do you even know how big the school is? I look out the window and I try not to do anything. As I'm trying to calm myself down, I say, no, I don't know how many people are going to be at the school. He said, don't you think you should have asked that? I said, I don't know what I'm doing, man, okay? He said, Nick, do you even know how long you're speaking for? At this time, my blood pressure goes to the lowest it's ever been. I can't feel my face. And I said, no, I do not know. He's driving and he starts smiling because he doesn't care. He's getting paid anyway. We get to the school and I say hello to the principal, and the principal says, thank you for coming. I said, no problem, thank you for having me. I said, I just have two questions. She said, okay, yeah, what is it? I said, I'm just wondering, how many minutes would you like me to speak? Now guys, a lot is on the line, okay? After all the failure to get to this success, it took a lot. It's a 2.5-hour drive there, 2.5-hour drive back, 5 hours of travel. And the $50 that I'm getting is paid for my brother, and I also have to pay for the fuel, naturally. So a lot is on the line. So I said, how many minutes would you like me to speak for? And she said, oh, how does 5 minutes sound? My brother laughed out loud. I mean, he laughed so loud, he couldn't help himself. He turned around and started walking away. I could hear him, he kept on going. I'm trying to calm myself down. I'm thinking, it's okay, Nick, maybe it's a big crowd, 5 minutes with a big crowd, that's okay, it's okay, just calm down, keep calm, it's okay. So I said, and how many people are you expecting me to speak in front of? Oh, we're so excited. We have all of our leaders, 10. I said, excuse me? She said, 10 people. I said, for 5 minutes? She said, yes. She said, is that okay? Yes. Man, I beat myself up. Those voices of lies, those voices of negativity. You're an idiot. You'll never be a speaker. You should have just asked those questions. You're crazy. You can't achieve anything. You're a nobody. You don't even know your story. You don't even know what you're going to say. You did all that. To speak for 5 minutes in front of 10 people? This is not a good business plan, Nick. So I got up on stage and I spoke and I got down, I got my 50 bucks, I gave my 50 bucks to my brother, we get in the car, we stop at the fuel station, we get some fuel, we're on our way home. He's driving and he's smiling. I said, don't tell mom and dad. He said, okay. We get home. Guess who sees me? Mom sees me as soon as I get in. She says, hey Nick, how was the speech? Oh, it was good, Mom. I went into my room, shut the door, did not come out for dinner. My parents said, what's wrong with Nick? My brother told them, and I'm thankful he did. I think I cried that night. I was depressed, I was angry, I was beating myself up. I felt like a failure. I hate that feeling. I went to sleep and at 8:30 in the morning, my phone started ringing. 8:30 in the morning is pretty early for a 19-year-old. It woke me up, I didn't pick it up. I'm like, who is calling me so early in the morning? Then I remember what happened the day before. And I started getting depressed and angry, beat myself up again. 10 minutes later, I didn't pick it up. Third time. All right. So I'm half asleep. Hello?
Hi, is this Nick Vujicic, a motivational speaker?
Yes, hi. And I said, let me check my schedule. So I get my diary out, and I open it, and it's all blank. So I turn a page, and I turn another page. I turn one more page. And I said, how about next Friday? She says, oh, that's great. I said, okay, great. So we make the arrangements and everything's done, and she hangs up, and I'm like, man, that's one of the best days of my life. I spoke at that school, then another couple schools heard about me. I spoke at those schools, and more schools heard about me. Do you know how many marketing dollars I've spent for our brand? 0. Do you know how many invitations I have now? 35,000. 35,000 invitations on file. You work in kilometers if you work in centimeters, correct? I've traveled 5 million kilometers around the world. 5 million kilometers around the world, which is equivalent to about 110 times around the world, spoken 3,000 times in crowds as large as 110,000 people face to face, and the largest live audience on TV, an actual 270 million people. In 2013, I traveled 26 countries and 12 governments allowed me to go on national TV for an hour to talk about my faith journey and God and heaven in front of 400 million people. I reached 6% of the world in 17 weeks. That is nothing short of a miracle. Dreams can come true. If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. If it all closes, there's another one coming, and it's probably better than the last one. My success ain't money. My success is purpose and joy and truth. Purpose, joy, and truth. That to me is my goal. That to me is my success. And I could be easily the man who takes every single invitation and never spend time with his son. And then at my funeral, someone can come up to my son and say, your dad was a good man. And he can say, yeah, my dad was a good man. I just wish I knew him. Faith, family, mission. To me, faith, family, mission. I am a family man. I am a man of God. I am a man of faith and prayer, and I'm a man that wants to change the world. It's not okay. Everyone say it's not okay. It's not okay to know that there are 1 billion people going hungry. Everyone say it's not okay.
It's not okay.
That there are 10 million slaves in the world. Is that okay or not?
Not.
Should everyone get education?
Yes.
And water? Yes. And food? Yes. And love? Yes. And safety? Yes. I am not accepting the world status, so I ain't just gonna complain about it, and I'm not waiting for billionaires to fix it or governments fix it, because we'll be waiting a long time. I am 32, and I say the people are the change. If you want to see change in the world, you got to be the change. Why can't we find 400 million people to give $1 a day to feed every single hungry mouth? Why can't we get 400 million people to give $1 a day to build hospitals and schools and orphanages and do what Sir Richard Branson does? He goes to Africa and he builds a runway, an airline runway. That's his runway. He gets a 747, fills it up with 600 motorcycles, with 600 doctors, with 600 mini medical clinics on the back of each motorbike, and these 600 doctors go to 600 villages for the week. Ministers to everyone, goes back on the plane, then goes back home. There is creativity that is unlimited. You gotta be creative, but you just want to need it. You're gonna need to want it that bad. I want this world a much better place than it's in. And I want it so bad. And I'm friends with influential people. And I'm 3 years away from starting a platform. I don't like Facebook. I'm on Facebook. Sorry, Facebook, but I don't like you. I'll tell you why. We got 6 million fans. 6 million fans. We reached through Facebook 38 million people last week. 38 million people saw my posts. Through the reach, through the shares, through the comments, through the interactivity, okay? We have one of the most leading organic growth pages Facebook's ever seen, okay? But out of the 6 million people, I can only be assured that around 600,000 people actually see my post. If I want all my 6 million followers to see my post, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pay. So I said, forget that, I'm gonna start my own platform. So we're doing that now. And we are going to and we're going to report that 100% truly goes to the needy, the people who need it, and report with cameras and documentation what happened, where the money goes, blah, blah, blah. And I really believe it's going to happen. Is that a crazy dream or what? Is it a big dream? We'd be crazy not to dream it, right? Yeah. You see how all that changes? I am crazy, but I love it. I love it. That's crazy. We got an emerald hunt together. Sometimes you got to be crazy just a little bit, right? To believe things that not even half of you believes, right? You can do it. For me, there are many things that I have to still achieve. But if I died today, I'd die very happy. I want to do something very practical for you, something very empowering, okay? I want you to pick up your pen, make a list. 1, 2, 3. The heading for the list is obstacles. There are reasons why I'm about to say what I'm about to say, but can the camera people not cut away back to the audience for the rest of the speech? Can you do that for me, please? Just keep the camera on me. Thank you very much. There are reasons, you'll know why later. I want you to write down the 3 biggest obstacles that are stopping you from achieving your goals. When you're done, please look at me so I know who is done. Good, most of you, great. I want you to stand to your feet if you can, with the list in your hand. Nothing else but your list. I want you to look at your list. Hold the list with both hands. I think what's important, some of you are still recording. I need you to stop recording now. This is for you. This is not to remember. I've only got 6 minutes left, so now you're going to have to remember the rest, okay? Just put the cameras down. Potential. Does that make sense? When one door closes, another door opens. When you don't know what's around the corner till you what? Go around the corner. Does that make sense? So every single one of you just told me that actually it is possible that you could do better in time management, educate yourself, do different things to learn and grow and develop. You might run into your investor. You may have different variables that could actually get these obstacles out of your way. Now, how would you feel if you never had a list of those top 3? It would feel pretty good, right? Well, guess what? It could somehow, possibly, one day, change. So then you got to keep at it. Take one day at a time. For as long as your heart desires that goal or dream, keep going for it. Does that make sense? Yes. Make sure that you don't put your marriage as the sacrifice on an altar for your dream. Faith, family, mission. Was that a cool exercise? Good. Lastly, if you have anything in your hands, put it down. Do you trust me?
Yes.
Okay. Everyone say love.
Wow.
Turn to the person next to you and say, I love you.
I love you. Always keep smiling. I love.
Okay, ready?
I love.
Feel the love. You will be surprised. As I've done many speeches around the world, you don't know what anyone's going through. Make sure that one thing remains about memories of you by other people. It's love. You don't know how many people in this room who have already tried to commit suicide. On your street, at your workplace, they feel like all hope is gone. If you ain't generous with your time and you ain't generous with your kind words, then you're not going to be generous with your wallet. So forget about the world's needs for a second and think about your neighbor's needs. And see how you can be a light in their life. Sometimes all you need is one true friend. And sometimes you have to be a true friend to get one. When you realize this, it begins with love, it is love, and it ends with love. And I love you and I thank you for loving me. Thank you.
Thank you.